I'm going to introduce you to a practice that will change the way that you read poetry. Hi, I'm Reverend Aaron, the minister of the Grosse Pointe Unitarian Church. In this series of monthly videos, I'm introducing you to a variety of spiritual or contemplative practices. For this month, I am introducing Lectio Divina. Lectio Divina is an old monastic practice. It goes back to a time when the written text, when the Bible, was rather expensive to obtain, and it was timely to obtain. People had to write it by hand. This is way before the time of the printing press. So, with only limited copies of the sacred text available, monks and nuns had to rely on memorizing passages, both for taking part in the liturgy of the hours, as well as for inspiration. So they would memorize passages of the Bible. They would encounter them in a practice that became known as Lectio Divina. Now, this is one of my favorite spiritual practices. I've had some sort of weekly practice of Lectio Divina for at least the past 5 years. Now, there are a couple of different parts of Lectio Divina, and I'm going to tell you what those parts are right now. So the first is silencio. You sit in silence. Then there's lectio, where you read, meditatio, where you meditate on the word that you have received. You pray about that word and you contemplate how it is going to impact your life. And then you move into incantatio, which is the final part of Lectio Divina, where you pray for how you might incarnate this word that you have received. Now that all sounds, well, a little esoteric to me, so I want to bring this practice a little bit closer to home. You can do this spiritual practice with any of the holy texts of any of the world's religions. However, you can also do this practice, with poetry. That's how I like to do it. And you can do it by yourself or in a group. In the link below, I will share a handout about how to do it with one person, that is by yourself, how to do it with another person, as in a partnership, or how to do it in a group. I'll tell you the group practice first, and probably only in this video, to be totally honest. We begin by sitting in silence or whatever space is going to help you focus on the task at hand. Then we read the poem twice. The question often comes up, what kind of poetry is best for Lectio Divina? I find, and this is just one guy's opinion, that the best texts for Lectio Divina usually have good, strong images, and there's a certain oral quality to them. You can understand them by hearing. Poets like Ada Limon and Mary Oliver and Derek Walcott and some others are good starting places with this. Usually poems of 100 to 300 words also work best because you're going to read them out loud 4 times total. So you begin again from that place of quiet, and then you read the text twice. During these first 2 encounters of the text, you're listening for words or phrases that catch your attention. Some say that this is the part where you notice what words or phrases sparkle up at you, which I love that phrase. You then sit in quiet after those first 2 readings, and then you share with your group that you're doing this practice with the words or the phrases without any elaboration. You can just say those words or phrases. And then another person in your group reads the text out loud. During this 3rd encounter of the text, you're listening and noticing the sensory impressions you get as you read this text as you read this poem. These could be things that you hear or see or sense or taste. Any of those are good. After that third sharing, you sit for another minute in quiet, and then you share a sentence or two about the sensory impressions you got from that text. Then you encounter the poem for a fourth and a final time. During this fourth and final time, you are listening between the lines to listen for a sense of invitation, inspiration, or affirmation. How is this text speaking to you in your next few days? You then sit for, I like 2 minutes of quiet after that fourth encounter. And then you share how you think this poem is speaking or will speak to your next few days. I like to close with a little bit more quiet. Then I thank the poet for writing this text, for all of the people that helped bring this poem into my awareness. And I also thank the people who sat with me in this practice. So that's a really quick rundown of Lectio Divina, or sacred reading. I hope you'll join me here at Grosse Pointe Unitarian Church on March 22nd at 12. That's right after the service in the library. We'll be taking part in Lectio Divina in a group. Again, this is one of my most favorite practices. It's one of the practices that has really held me, and I hope to share it with you.